Welcome to planet Arrakis, commonly known as Dune. It has such attractions as sand, scorching sun, endless desert, and enormous fuck you worms! Why does anyone bother coming to this death trap? Because it's the only place in the galaxy to get spice. It's like their corn syrup. It's in everything, and it's basically space cocaine. This book is 1/3 politics, 1/3 wandering around the desert, and 1/3 Paul starting a war cult. Who's Paul? Paul is the chosen one who can see into the future. His family is ordered by the Emperor to take and rule Arrakis. Turns out that it's a trap, and everyone in Paul's family is killed by their rivals, the Harkonnens. Only Paul and his mom Jessica make it out alive. By the way, Paul's family knew this was a trap and did nothing to avoid going to Arrakis. The logic is that if they know it's a trap, they can step around it and come out on top. But the Harkonnens plant a traitor in their house and also have the Emperor on their side, so they're basically fucked from the get-go. Paul and Jessica escape into the desert, which would be a problem because nothing can really survive out here, except Paul's future-seeing powers get cranked up to 11, so they're able to find some local desert dwellers, including Paul's eventual girlfriend. Side note, this book was written in 1965, but it still manages to have multiple compelling women who help Paul figure out politics and the desert. Good boy, Frank. Paul is freaked out because with his future-seeing powers, he is seeing a massive religious war coming up in a few decades that'll kill thousands of people, and he keeps trying to stop it. The problem is that everything he does to protect himself and his mom brings them closer to that war, and he's got more immediate problems to focus on right now anyway. The Harkonnens rule Arrakis for a few years, and they're jerks to their subjects, so it is super easy for Paul to convince the locals to fight back, both to get his revenge and also to save the whole planet from tyranny. He becomes a religious figure and the locals' leader, causing real problems for the Harkonnens. So the Harkonnens ask the Emperor for help. The Emperor does. He comes to back them up, and it fails because Paul beats them all. He kills all the Harkonnens and sets himself up to marry the princess and become Emperor himself. The story ends on a somewhat bittersweet note because yeah, Paul wins, but he's also become alienated from his friends. His gifts make him less human, and the religious war that he's seen in his visions that he's tried so hard to stop, he knows it's gonna happen anyway. There's nothing he can do to stop it, and he basically accepts it. Also, his infant son is killed in the final fight, so that probably had something to do with it. The end.